According to CNN, sources say that Special Counsel Jack Smith has an audio recording of Donald Trump discussing classified documents he had in his possession, and that he knew they were still classified and that he had limits on the declassification.
News, a new piece of evidence that undercuts Donald Trump's defense in the classified documents investigation. Sources telling CNN federal prosecutors have obtained an audio recording of a summer 2021 meeting where the former president acknowledges he held on to a classified Pentagon document about a potential attack against Iran. The recording indicates that not only did Donald Trump know he had classified materials in his possession after he had left the White House, but that Trump also seemed to know there were limits on what and how he could declassify records since he was no longer president. Let's bring in CNN's Caitlin Polans and Paula Reed, who are bringing us the CNN exclusive reporting. Paula, set the scene for us. Where was this meeting? What was it about?
This meeting was back in the summer of 2021 at Trump's Bedminster Golf Club. And among the people in attendance were several Trump aides and two people working on an autobiography of Mark Meadows. Now, Mark Meadows was not in attendance at this meeting, but during this time, Trump was in the habit of having his aides record any conversations with journalists, writers, or people working on books. Now, sources tell us that on this tape, Trump says that he has a classified Pentagon document describing a possible attack on Iran. We're also told that you can hear a paper rustling. It appears that he might be waving something around, though it's unclear if he's waving this document that he's referring to or if he's waving something else. Now, perhaps more importantly for investigators, on this recording, you can hear Trump suggest that he would like to share this information with the people he's speaking with, but he acknowledges that there are limits to his power to declassify post-presidency. And as one source told me, that is a real problem.
That's a real problem because it undercuts his entire argument.
Now, Jake Tapper's discussion there was on the money. He absolutely knew they were classified. He knew there were limits. And it blows away his whole argument that, oh, well, you know, I was the president. I can declassify whatever documents I want to whenever I want to. Donald Trump knew that was a lie. But Donald Trump was caught with the documents. And so he had to make up some delusional story about how he can declassify documents with his mind. So that's his argument is completely blown out of the water. We also learned a few more things about Trump and these classified documents. One, that he was talking to Mark Meadows' ghostwriters and sharing information about an attack on Iran to people who have no security clearance, who could have been anybody. Donald Trump doesn't care. He wants to brag about how he's got the papers right in front of him. We also learned that Donald Trump is a complete moron and that he incriminated himself here by having his aides record all of his discussions with writers. Okay. And then you have the fact that Donald Trump is talking about an attack on one of America's adversaries. Something that endangers our troops and endangers Americans around the world. And anybody who has family in the service or has ever known anyone in the service, which is probably 99.9% of us, you should be furious. Because that type of behavior is what could get Americans killed. And that's why this issue is so serious. That's why this special counsel is involved. That's why the FBI raided his home. Because you had him, they discussed how you could hear the papers, right? And he's talking about how they're classified and how, he really can't share it because he's got limits. I didn't really hear just him bragging. I heard Donald Trump almost selling these documents. Now, regardless of what his intentions were or were not, whether he was selling them, whether he was just bragging, he is still in a very serious situation here, tenuous situation, because of how deadly the information was that he was sharing could have been. How, if this would have got into the wrong hands, or gone back to, this information could have gotten back to Iran, what would have happened? You don't have people holding Donald Trump's hand anymore like they did when he was president, saying, oh, okay, no, let's not talk about this. No, you've got Donald Trump out there just in the wind with classified documents that could lead to Americans getting killed. And that's why there's a special counsel. That's why the FBI raided his home. That's why this is so serious. So it looks like Donald Trump could face jail time very seriously for this. Because before, again, he had the shield of the presidency protecting him from justice for all the crimes that he committed. But now he's out there as an ex-president, seemingly to me, but regardless, whether or not he's selling the information, because it seems to me like he's selling this. He's trying to get a buck for it, because that's how Donald Trump thinks, right? But regardless, he is endangering American troops and Americans across the country, across the world. So it's more likely now than ever that Donald Trump will face jail time. Will it happen? That's yet to be seen.